Sports fans, this is Robert with WTP Sports Dudes here live on this Tuesday night for a way too early college football top 25 for 2026. Man, I'm excited about this one. I want to see what these guys think about the top 25 teams that they think is going to start the season in the top 25. I'm here this evening with my man, One Take Zaya. How you feeling, One Take?
I'm feeling good, highly favored. What's up with the crew, man?
Chilling, man, just chilling.
I'm good. Good to see you. We also got our man, Post Game of the Post Game 86 podcast. How you feeling, Post Game?
Hey, man, what's up with y'all? It's always a great thing to talk some college football, although we months away from the season starting. It's always a good time to talk a little college football. How y'all doing tonight?
Doing good. We also got our man, SEC Sean. How you feeling, SEC Sean?
Man, we good today. Y'all know me. I got one more sleep before I get my cars on that track, so I'm ready to roll.
He said one more sleep. I feel you on that. I know you're super excited about that. Why don't you go ahead and kick us off real quick with story time, and then we'll get into some other things before we talk about this way too early college football top 25 for 2026.
So I had a buddy of mine that was an atheist, and he was out in the woods walking, and all of a sudden he got started chasing by a bear. Man, he take off on a run. Look back, bear catching him. He's still going. Look, the bear, he tripped. Bear right on top of him. Grab him with his left paw, bring up his right arm. And the guy said, "Oh my God, help me." And the guy, all of a sudden, everything stopped. God said, "You didn't believe in me for all this time. Now you want my help." He said, "You're right. That would be pretty hypocritical of me. But can you do me one favor and then make the bear a Christian?" He said, "I can do that." So he made the bear a Christian. The bear came back, took his paw off, put his hands together, and the bear said, "Dear Lord, thank me for this meal I'm about to consume."
That's a good one. He thought he was about to get off, didn't he?
Boy.
Oh my God.
Come on, Zay. You know it.
Oh man. What do y'all think about the situation with the player from Alabama in basketball? Now the ruling is that he cannot play. Do you think they're going to take those games away from Alabama? What do you feel about that situation altogether?
Real quick, I hate it because the dude was eligible when they beat A&M. Now, I mean, he only had like 5 points, but they won by 3. So eliminate his points, we win the game. So I'm mad that it happened now. It probably happened right before they played Texas because y'all be paying judges and stuff down there to give y'all the benefit or something.
Man, the hate is real, folks. The hate is real.
This the way it should have been. They ain't gonna take them games though. They the one that gave him the temporary whatever, to let him play in the first place. So they ain't gonna take the games. But it's cool though. Like, they should do that with everybody. He was a professional, bro. He played in the G League. Them G League dudes get called up all the time.
I haven't heard anything. You said a player from Alabama.
That basketball player for Alabama.
It was the Charles Bediako guy. He was on the Alabama team a couple years ago, and then got drafted, went to the G League, and didn't wasn't, I guess, doing anything in really, and so decided to go back and re-enroll with Alabama, and they gave him eligibility. And now they're taking it away.
Wow.
Wonderful world of college athletics, ain't it?
That is, man. All of us should apply.
Right.
All four of us should apply. They got what do you call those people? Team assistants entering the transfer portal. That's absurd.
Yeah, that's nuts, man. My thing is, it never should have happened in the first place. He never should have been allowed to get any more eligibility to play. He played in the G League. That should be considered professional, which it is professional. And I really do believe that at some point, the NCAA is going to have to make a ruling on situations like this. And also the fact that you got players from other countries who have played in professional leagues in other countries who, although they are young and not quite adult yet, like sometimes you get players in other countries of 16, 17 playing in professional basketball overseas, and then they get to come over here and play at the collegiate level. I think anytime you start making professional money, that should go ahead and rule you out of playing any college sports. Unless your first, you shouldn't be able to play any college sports. NIL should be your first bag of money that you get. It shouldn't be, if you get some money playing professional sports, you shouldn't be allowed to play at any college. I don't care if you played when you were 16 and 17 years old. But I think the NCAA is going to have to make a ruling on that at some point. Anything else y'all want to cover before we jump into our way too early top 25? Okay. I think I had another question for y'all too, but it's going to come to my mind here in a little bit. Let me scroll through here and see what we got in the chat. All right. Cool.
What about that quick recap on that Kansas-Arizona game?
Oh, yeah. Did any of y'all catch that game? I didn't catch that game last night. But Kansas ended up pulling it out at home over Arizona. I think they won by, 4? Was it 72-58, something like that?
Without Peterson.
Without Peterson, wow.
Yeah, he didn't play. He had the flu.
Yeah, man. That I told y'all that Kansas team is going to be scary in March. But they always end up losing in March, man. It's on some weird stuff. That's the only thing. But they know. I think he been doing this strategically for real. He wanted his team to figure out how to play without him. You know what I'm saying? Just because it's like he iffy. Sometimes he be cramped up, all types of stuff. You never know. When you get to March, you might have to win a game or two without him.
Yeah, what's Kansas coach Bill Self?
Yeah.
Undefeated in Big Monday night or Big Monday games. So, I mean, y'all know I think the world of Arizona, which that didn't deter my thoughts on Arizona at all, because you got to think they just they ripped off 23 straight and against some elite ball clubs. I mean, big Monday night game against Kansas at Kansas. They bound to lose, but I mean, I felt like Kansas was really physical down low. I thought their bigs played very well and contained Arizona's bigs. And I gotta say, like, I think Arizona played their worst game and Kansas played one of their better games, and they only lost by 4. Now, I like this Kansas team a lot too, but I think neutral court or Arizona's house, I think Arizona wins. But great victory for Kansas, and I do believe they'll be a force to be reckoned with come March Madness time, especially if Peterson is able to play. My goodness. You know what's funny? I know somebody who trained Peterson last year, or this before he went to college. I know someone he was training with, and even he said, like, he's injury prone. Like that spoke volumes to me. Like, why would somebody who trained you, helped you get to where you at, say that about you? And of course, I'm not gonna say no names. That's not how I rock, but that spoke volumes to me. But I love Peterson. I think he's gonna be great. I just hope he's able to stay healthy.
Yeah, I noticed, Arizona still to me is the team, but I will say Arizona's Big 12 schedule is backloaded heavy. They still got another matchup with Kansas coming. They got Tech coming up, I think, this weekend. Then they go to Houston in the midweek next week. So, and then they got Iowa State, I think, in Arizona. So they're backloaded with all the big dogs of the Big 12s. But, I still think Arizona's the team to beat. Don't get me wrong. But if I'm Arizona, I'm kind of wishing I had a couple of these games maybe back in January at some point, spread this stuff out a little bit. But it is what it is.
Yeah, I didn't get to check out that game, but I'm quite sure it was a really, really interesting one. And Arizona probably had to play bad in order for them to lose to Kansas without Peterson. That's for sure. That's for sure. Let me say this real quick. Rest in peace to our man Chris Gilbert, former running back at Texas, the very first running back in college football history to ever rush for 3 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. A Texas Longhorn was the first to ever do that. Rest in peace to Chris Gilbert. Prayers to his family, condolences, all that good stuff. Let's get into this top 25. It's way, way too early, but we're going to tell y'all what we think about it. Who wants to go up first? Who wants to get in first?
We got breaking news. We got some breaking news. Montana linebacker Solomon Tuliaupupu just was granted his 9th year of eligibility.
Are you serious, man?
Oh man,
right there on the screen, brother.
Well, what that mean for Chambliss and Aguilar?
That's what I'm saying, man. Go to Montana. Apparently, they got a 2 6-year offensive linemen. So I'm picking Montana to win the national title.
That's just ridiculous.
If they get Diego Pavia, they're going to be an AARP. They're going to be the Golden Squad, not the Golden Girls.
They have got to go ahead and make the rule. You got 5 years of eligibility. You got to get all your play in those 5 years, regardless if you get injured or not. You got 5 years to play, and that's it. That got to be the bottom line, man. That's the only way to fix this thing, I think, in my opinion, at this point. 5 years to play, college athletics, injuries or not, and it's over after 5.
I'll jump through my list first real quick because just in case somebody else drops a list to me, I can sit back and type it. So
why we don't do everybody 25 through 21?
We can do that too. We can jump at 20, do everybody's 25 to 21, and then bounce back and forth. We can do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So I'll throw mine up. There's my 25. Virginia Tech, Louisville, Washington, Missouri, and Iowa.
What convinced you to put Missouri in your top 25?
Their running game. Because they're an SEC squad. Don't even start that. I made sure that every one of my groupings has an SEC with a Big Ten school, just so they're. I just think Missouri's running game. I mean, Missouri's a pretty average squad. That's about where I see them finishing. You know, they're going to be 9-3, 8-4, something like that almost every year, which is probably going to put you in that 22 to 23, 25 range. So that's why I threw them there. Iowa's number 221. That's not supposed to be 221. That's supposed to just be 21.
The reason why I asked, because I was right on the fence with Missouri for my top 25, and I didn't give them the break because I felt like last year, even though they had them ranked to where they were with that running game, whenever they played the juggernauts, even though their quarterback did go down and they was on their fourth string quarterback at some point during that season, I just really didn't feel like they were a team that should have been ranked in the top 25. And I'm thinking that's probably going to be the case again this year, like it was this past season and the season before. So that's why I didn't quite put them in my top 25.
Well, and my theory was 25 to 21 is kind of that team where you can kind of put some flyers, I think. Like, we don't know what Virginia Tech's going to be, but they did bring a lot of the kids from Penn State, which are pretty good recruits, and he's a good coach. So, you know, we'll see. And they're in probably the weaker of the football conferences, to be fair. So, that's why mine looks like that. I'll throw. Next one is going to be yours, Robert.
Yeah, I have Virginia Tech at 25. I'm thinking that Franklin will be able to have that team ready to compete. He got a lot of players that he took away from Penn State and from their high school recruits too. So I think they're going to be a decent team. I couldn't see myself putting them any higher than 25 though. But I'm thinking off of Franklin's ability to coach, even though he had trouble winning the big games, I felt like 25 would be a good spot for them. I went with Florida at 24. I was on the fence with them too, just like I was Missouri, but I gave them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. And I think that coach might be able to get them in the top 25. So I put them at 24. Houston, I put at 23. SMU at 22, and then I picked Tennessee at 21. I thought about putting Tennessee in my top 20, but I just couldn't do it because you really don't know what you're going to get out of Tennessee. I just think they'll be a good enough team to be in the top 25.
Any thoughts or questions from y'all? I'm shocked you got Florida in there at all. And Tennessee, I mean, is Aguilar gonna be able to play or is he not? That's
based off Aguilar playing.
That's based off of Aguilar being the quarterback this year. Okay. That is with him playing. Okay. Which I don't want him. I don't want him to get another year eligibility. I don't. But I'm thinking that they're going to give him one. So that's why I'm going with Tennessee there at 25. 21, I'm sorry.
You're on mute, Sean.
Sorry. Next to post game, that's your 25.
Yeah, I had Virginia 25, OK State 24, Missouri 23, Washington 22, and Tennessee 21. I think Oklahoma State is a team that kind of stands out in my top 25 rankings. Really want to call them the North Texas Sooners, getting the transfer and the coaches from North Texas. I think they'll be able to make some noise this year. Virginia, I wanted to show them a little love. I think they brought back some stuff, and They made a run at the ACC title last year. Missouri, as SEC Sean stated, I like their running game. And Washington, of course, I might be too low on the Huskies, but I thought 22 was a good spot for them. Tennessee at 21, that's assuming Aguilera is able to play this season. So that was 25 and 21 for me.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on Oklahoma State. They were outside. I left them outside just because I don't know how those transfers are going to translate from the group of 5 level, the American Conference, right? The American Athletic, isn't that what they're in?
Yeah.
To the Big 12. So we'll see, but they're in my 25 to 30 range to start the season probably.
I was right on the fence with Oklahoma State as well, for the simple fact that they're going. The coach from North Texas is going to a conference where if you got offense and you can score some points, you can upset some teams and you can win some games. I'm telling you right now, if they would have had that same quarterback, I definitely would have had them in my top 25 for sure. But they was right on the outside of my top 25 because I don't know what their quarterback play is going to be, even though I got a lot of faith in that coach and the offensive style that he runs, especially in the Big 12.
Anything, Zay? No? Okay. We're going to roll on into yours then. There's your.
Yeah, a lot of the things y'all said with Houston. They also got Mekhi Hughes in the portal. You know, he ain't getting no burn last year at Penn State. I mean at Oregon, but he was a hell of a back at Tulane. I think that helps. Also, you know, Houston, they got the 8th highest portal index, meaning the players that went out and the players that came in, they're replacing them with better players. So I think they can build on what they did last year. They're a wild card in the Big 12 for me. I think they might be able to really win it. And you know, I looked up a lot of these schedules too, because schedule matter. Key games, they at Texas Tech on September 19th, at Kansas State October 10th, at Utah October 24th. Really, everything else, I mean, I wouldn't see why they wouldn't be the favorite to win the game. You know, so 24 SMU, they are strictly there because of the return of Kevin Jennings. I think he's a wild card. You know, he can win a game anytime, any given Saturday. He can win a game himself. So I thought that was a good slot to put them. 23 Virginia Tech, James Franklin, of course, good coach, brought some of the Penn State guys over with him. And you know, I think it's a drop down in competition too for him. So, you know, with some of the players he brought over, I really don't expect him to miss a beat for real. I think he'll win at least 8 games this year at bare minimum. 22 Iowa, it just seemed like a good spot to put Iowa. Just a steady program, you know what I mean? So at 21, I went Virginia. I like that they picked up Prbula in the portal. We'll see how the rest of this stuff round out. But once again, we all probably in agreement that the ACC is probably the worst Power 4 conference. It's not going to take a lot for you to be in the upper echelon in that conference.
Yo, I can see that. I see we got a few people in the chat. Make sure y'all smash the like button. But I just wanted to say 2 teams that I was looking at that just were on the outside of my top 25. Arizona, I like their quarterback. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name, but they went 9-4 last season. I think they deserve some consideration. And also Boise State. I think Boise State can bounce back this season and have a solid year, possibly win their conference. So those were 2 teams just outside the top 25 for me.
Max.
Yeah, I got no issues with that one at all. Trying to see where I'm at here. We're just going to let you go again, Zay, move our way back up like a snake draft. That worked for everybody.
Yep, that's cool.
So, let me skip the wrong one. There we go. There's your 20 through 16.
Yeah, I got Utah, Louisville, Washington, OU, and Bama. I like the ad that Louisville had with King Holtz. I think he's gonna ball out. I think that whole offense is built for him. That style of quarterback. Washington 18. I really kind of could have put Washington lower. They got a brutal schedule. I don't know if y'all seen their schedule, but it's gonna be a problem to get through that schedule. OU. Can they solve the running game this year? I know they got to pick up. Who did they pick up? Who did they pick up? Was it Parker Livingstone?
Yeah, they got Parker.
Yeah, they got Parker, so that's a good addition. But man, they got to somehow solve that running game. And Bama, it's a make or break year for Kalen DeBoer for me. Who they gonna roll out? Austin Mack, Keelan Russell. We got to wait to see how that battle play out. But we know they're gonna have talent on their roster. But we just gotta see it from Kalen DeBoer. We gotta see it play out on the field. I think we all probably agree they probably shouldn't have been in the playoff last year, and they was there by default. But give or take, they were still in the SEC championship, so I wasn't really surprised that they made the playoffs regardless. But I did not think that was a worthy team for the playoffs, so I slotted them right there at 16.
Yeah, I could see that with Alabama, and I agree with your Oklahoma take for sure. I think I've got Oklahoma a little higher, but we'll get to that in a minute, and I'll explain why. But Alabama, you're dead right. This make or break. If Bama has 3 or more losses, DeBoer's going to be looking. That they won't keep him around if he goes 9-3 or 8-4.
Hey, that's why I was telling Griff, don't get too excited about Lane because Alabama might come over this season.
Right. But as far as Bama goes with quarterback, it's got to be Keelan Russell too, by the way. If you don't play that kid this year, he's gone.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people were saying they like how Mac looked when he came in that playoff game, though, in that last quarter.
Yeah. But move on up here to post game. Your 20 through 16 post game.
My bad. I got Utah, I got Bama, LSU, Mississippi, and SMU. Now, I don't think that what's my man name? Trinidad Chamberlain will be back for Mississippi this season. I'm not sure if it's official or not, but I don't think he'll be back. But this was based on me thinking that he would be back. But as I did a little more research, it doesn't look that way. SMU, I like SMU a lot for some of the same reasons that Zay got SMU in the top 25. Jennings and that offense could surprise and be very explosive and do some damage in the ACC conference. LSU, I got them a little high, I think, but that's because of all the talent and having Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss Jr. whipping up that offense in the kitchen. That could be dangerous, or they could need a year or two to get everything back on track at LSU. Alabama, I'm also not too sold on, but I just think out of respect, being in a playoff team, although I agree they probably shouldn't have been a playoff team. I had to show them a little bit of love and put them in my top 20. Now, Utah, probably, I think that's a team people may be sleeping on because they lost their coach. But I like Dampier, and I know they lost both of their tackles, but I think if Dampier is able to take another step and improve his passing, because we know he's a hell of a runner, I think Utah can do a little bit of damage this season. So that's my 20 through 16, fellas.
Yeah, I got no issues. I mean, LSU, I'm kind of shocked to see LSU that low. Most people, but I get your point. It could take a year for it to gel. So definitely see that. see all that. Move on up to Robert's top 20 through 16.
At 20, I had Iowa. At 19, I had Utah. At 18, I had Washington. At 17, I had Alabama. And 16, I had USC. There's just a whole lot of uncertainty. I know Iowa's going to play really, really good defense. I just don't know if they're going to be able to score enough points. Otherwise, I probably would have put them higher because I know their defense is going to be solid. I just don't know what their offense is going to do. Utah, I feel like they're going to be a really solid team like they are all the time. It's just they lost their coach, but I think they're going to be okay this season. They're not going to be juggernauts and make it in the top 10 or in the top 15 like last year. But I thought 19 would be a good spot for them. Washington, like a man, one take Zay said, they got a really tough schedule. And if they can navigate that thing, they can be ranked higher than this 18 that I got them at. But I think that's going to be tough sledding for them. So I put them at number 18. 17, I got Bama. Just the uncertainty at the quarterback position, and you don't know if they're going to fix their run game. And their defense has started to fall off. Of course, they got the talent and the players, but it seems like Kellen DeBoer hasn't been able to get the most out of those guys. I really was a team that I felt like should not have been in the college football playoffs, even though they played in the SEC championship game, because I really felt like they were a team that was falling off towards the end of the season. They just happened to have a good enough record coming up on the last 2 or 3 games of the season. And at number 16, I got USC. I feel like offensively they could be really, really good. It's just the uncertainty about their defense, so I couldn't put them higher than 16.
All right. Okay. Slide up here to my top 20 through 16. And I went SMU, Houston, Utah, Mississippi, and then Michigan. Michigan could have been a little bit higher probably, but I need to see something from Underwood before I move Michigan up a little bit. Plus a lot of the uncertainty and all the, I know the coaching stuff and all that stuff's got to play something to do with it. I think they came out of it pretty good, but I need to see more from Underwood before I bump them up a little bit higher. SMU, same thing. Jennings, that offense can be good. Defense is going to be pretty, decent. They did make one big pickup I like. They picked up a tight end out of A&M, Theo Melanostrom, number 17 for A&M last year. He's now at SMU. Houston, they got a good portal haul. They also had the number 1 quarterback in the class committed to him this previous year, not in transfer, but the high school kid, Kelshawn Henderson, I think. Utah, lost their coach. Let's see what they can do. Mississippi, Chambliss, I put him there based on he's not going to play. And some people will say that's too high if he doesn't play, but Deuce Knight ain't no slouch. Deuce Knight's pretty good. So that's why I have my 20 through 16 right there.
I see you got 5 ACC teams in the last 10, 16 through 25. Do you think any of those teams could have got into your top 15?
Not right now. No. I don't see it. Maybe a lot's going to depend on what Virginia Tech actually looks like when they hit the field. They'd probably be the one I would say that would probably make the run up, but we'll see what happens with them. So I just think the ACC is going to fill the bottom half of the top 25. I think they'll have some ranked teams, but I don't think they're going to have that. They're not going to have even the Big 12, the Texas Techs, the BYU. They're not going to have that kind of stuff. They're going to pretty much fill in the bottom half from, say, even 16 down, 15 down, if you want to go 15 to 25. I think that's where you're going to find a bulk of your ACC schools. You'll have some, as we'll get to here in a minute, that are higher than that, but it's just how I look at it. So my 15 through 11, this is where I slot Alabama. Then Penn State, BYU, Texas Tech, and Oklahoma. What are we going to get from Bama? Can they run the ball? Can their defense hold up? And what kind of quarterback play do we get? So that I've slotted them there. I feel like Alabama should, at least based on their pedigree and even the recency of them, they deserve to be a top 15 to start in my mind. Penn State, love the hire at head coach, Matt Campbell. Love that dude. Think Penn State's going to be really, really improved. BYU is going to, I think, take a step. BYU could even be a little higher based on what they're bringing back. They've got their running back, I believe. The quarterback was a true freshman last year. But they still have to prove that they can beat Texas Tech to me. And that's why I've got Tech ahead of them. I know Tech got Sorsby, and that's fine, but Tech lost a pretty good amount off that defense. And then they had some good portal additions, don't get me wrong, but Tech needs to figure out their offense a little more, to my mind, and to me. We saw that in the playoffs. Their defense played phenomenal in that game, but they got tired, and Oregon just cooked them. Oklahoma, I like Oklahoma's defense still. I think that's what keeps them here. If they find a running game, as was mentioned earlier by Zay, if they find a running game, Oklahoma flies up this list if they got their defense, that if the defense plays like it did last year. So there's my 15 through 11.
Yeah, I mean, you know, all these things, I feel like all these teams, once you get to like 15, they can really be thrown anywhere. These are teams that's pretty much firmly in the top 25. So I like your list.
Absolutely, man. I see you are pretty high on Penn State, and I do like the coaching move. I like the transfers, the additions they made. But is there anything specifically outside of that had you put Penn State so high? And I'll seriously, I want to know. Like, I'm curious.
No, the transfers. Think he's going to have more talent on that roster than what he started with at Iowa State. That's really, I'm just putting pretty much most of my faith in Penn State right now is on Matt Campbell. I think he's a great coach. I think he was the perfect fit for this job. And I think Penn State's probably the fourth best team in the Big Ten, third or fourth best team in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I really like Rocco Beck too.
Yeah. That's probably, I mean, Campbell is great, but man, Rocco Beck is what makes me put them there. He just knows how to win. He knows the system he's going to be in. That's going to help all of the players around him in offseason, spring ball. He's going to know all the cadence. He's going to be a coach on the field. And I know that's quarterback speak, but it's legit true with this case. Roll on down here. Let me see. Should be Robert next with his 15 through 11.
At 15, I had BYU. At 14, I had Penn State. At 13, I had Mississippi. At 12, I had Michigan. And 11, I had LSU. I really feel like BYU is probably going to be the second best team in the Big 12, which is going to allow them to have a higher ranking over some teams that they're probably not better than. If they were to face them, they would probably lose. But the fact that they're going to look like they're the second best team in the Big 12, I think 15 is probably about where they will fall. Penn State, because of Rocco Beck, is the only reason why I had them there. And I really do feel like Matt Campbell is a perfect Big Ten coach. The way he wants to play football fits the style of Big Ten football. And that's one of the reasons why I got them at 14. Ole Miss, I feel like they're going to have a lot of that talent back that they had the year before that did not go to LSU, and they've gotten some guys in the portal. They were able to keep their running back. I think they're going to be a pretty decent team, but I don't think they're going to have the kind of season they had last year, but I think they'll be good enough to be 13. Michigan, because of their quarterback, in another year older, I think they're going to be able to open up the system for him, because I think if they go back and look at what he did last year, when they allowed him to play, he did really, really well. He was able to make some plays. He was able to do things and look good. And I think this year they'll be able to open it up a little bit more for him, being that he'll be a second-year quarterback. So I really like that Michigan team, and they're going to play really good defense under Cal Whittingham. And at 11, we got LSU, who tore up the portal. They did better than probably anybody in college football in the portal, and they landed Will Levis. I think the fact that they got a really, really good quarterback, even though he had a lot of injuries last year, I think Will Levis is destined to break out. They got weapons on the outside. They'll probably have a decent running game. Hopefully their offensive line will be good enough to make some things happen. But I really like the fact that Lane Kiffin is there, Weiss, and that offense will be really, really good and keep them in a lot of games. It won't be dormant like it was last year, that's for sure. So that's why I got LSU at number 11.
And keep Will Levis in Tennessee, man. That's Sam Levitt.
Oh, yeah. I always mess that up, don't I?
Hey, bro, he be seeing ghost stories when he say that name.
I know, man. I know. Sam Levitt. Yeah, hey, man, listen. Hopefully Will Levis can land him a spot somewhere and be a backup or journeyman somewhere.
Let me ask y'all a question. Just if y'all had to pick both of these quarterbacks who are available, and you can have your pick, would you take Levitt or Rocco Beck?
Oh, I'm taking Sam Levitt all day.
I'm taking Rocco, man. Rocco a dog, bro. It's something about him, man. He'll put that cape on his back and go win it, I like dudes that, when you in that fire, you can look him in his eye and know he gonna give it all.
Give me Rocco. Give me Rocco. Nothing else to say. Zay said it all. He's just a dog.
Yeah,
Hey Rob, take this off the screen. I'm about to my computer had cut off. I'm about to get back on the computer.
Okay.
Post game 15 through 11 right there.
Yeah, I got Louisville 15, Iowa 14, BYU 13, USC 12, Michigan 11. Fellas, I like this Louisville team, man. I like the Brown brothers. I think they're hell of a coaches. I like what they brought to Louisville and the stability they add to that program. I think Zay mentioned the quarterback from Ohio State, Lincoln Kingholz. I think he'll be solid. I think Brown at running back is going to be top 3 running back in the country. I like this Louisville team. They got a chance to make some noise in the ACC. Iowa, what more can I say, man? It's steak and potatoes. It seems like every year they find a way to be at least a threat. And they'll have a quarterback battle, heading into the spring, heading into the fall. We'll see who wins that job. BYU bringing back their coach, bringing back a lot of players. They got a tech problem. We'll see if they'll be able to overcome that. USC, I think is now or never. Well, I shouldn't say never, but USC is set up to finally make some noise ever since joining the Big Ten Conference. I like what they brought back, the type of play caller they got at head coach. They should be able to make some noise this year. They had the #1 recruiting class. And let me add, I think their #1 recruiting class is more from quantity than quality. I think they signed a truckload of players. And it's not a knock, but I think there were better high school recruiting classes this year than USC, but kudos to them. But I think they make a jump this year. Michigan at 11. I know some people may think that's kind of high, but I love what I believe Kyle Whittingham is going to bring to that program. We all know what they've been through. I think he's going to add some credibility to the locker room, some stability. Him getting a lot of transfers over from Utah. I think more so than talent, I think it's the culture that those players are going to bring to Michigan to help him turn it around. And we're going to find out if Underwood, which I believe he is going to make a jump. And I think he's with the right coach and coaching staff to kind of put him in position to make plays and put him in position to be a better quarterback. So I'm high on Michigan this year. That's my 15 through 11.
So, quick question here. Kind of the same thing you hit me with Penn State. What, besides the steak and potato thing with Iowa, why do you have, what makes you think Iowa's in the 14?
Because you take their head coach, you know what he brings to the table consistently. I believe they're going to be able to run the ball and play that same stingy Iowa defense. Now, we're going to see who's going to win the quarterback job at Iowa. But, if we talking rankings going into next year, man, I just like Iowa, man. I like their style of play. I like how they play football. Midwest style. The Midwest got the last how many championships? 3? I believe that's going to continue, baby.
No issues at all. Just was curiosity. I haven't seen their schedule. I haven't looked up theirs.
They hit gold with the Big
Ten. Did they? I know, Northwestern got killed.
They got a 3-game stretch where they're at Michigan. Then they got Ohio State at home, and then they go to Washington. But outside of Iowa State in the early part of the season, man, they should win all those games.
Okay, that's a plus then for sure. Yeah. Okay, no worries. Let's see here. Run down to your 15 through 11.
Yeah, I went 15. I went Penn State. Another team that hit gold on their schedule. You looking at USC on the 10th of October. Then they go to Michigan, and then they're at Washington. So that's really the 3 games. That USC game probably would be the whiteout game. So you never know what happens on the whiteout games. But Rocco Beck, he's just a monster, bro. I feel like him being quarterback at Penn State will make them win at least 8 games out of just looking at their schedule. So I got to put them up there in the hunt and the contention of making the playoffs. 14, Michigan. Whittingham, he brought over his OC, Jay something. I can't, or what is his name? He brought over his OC and DC. I can't even think of his name, but I'm just comparing the offense that I seen last year with Dampier, and then we gonna just throw the young Lamborghini in it. I just got to think that offense is gonna be a whole lot better, just because I think the Lamborghini throws a better ball. Period. Even though he don't got no touch and no feel on his throw, he still throws a better ball than me. And we know what that Michigan defense is gonna look like. And Whittingham brought over 2 of his studs from Utah, John Henry Daly and Smith Snowden. So that's going to bolster that defense as well. At 13, Texas A&M. I felt like I was going back and forth with Texas A&M. I feel like I could have put them a little bit higher. Um, they got Craver still. What was the receiver y'all got in the portal?
Isaiah Horton from Bama.
Horton. That's going to be a nice combination. They did.
If you want some advice, I mean, yeah, I agree with you. You could have put them higher. That's just my opinion.
I know. That's your advice. I know. I mean, we know y'all lost Le'Veon Moss, but y'all still returned the other kid. What's his name? Sean, help me out.
To be honest with you, we lost Moss, Daniels, and EJ Smith out of the running back room. They all graduated, but we got Reuben Owens back. Reuben Owens.
Yeah, he's a good back though, so I really don't think y'all miss a beat on offense. It's just about whether or not y'all giving up them big plays or not next year to determine where y'all season really gonna fall. 12 BYU. They return Bear. LJ Martin, that defense is going to be good always. BYU is another one of them programs that they just wake up out of their sleep and they can play good defense. And then 11 USC. This was another tricky call for me because it's Lincoln Riley is in the same boat as Kalen DeBoer for me. Like, this is a prove-it year. You done had everything, all the resources that you can possibly have. We're going on year 4, I believe. You return your quarterback, who probably is going to be a top 2 round pick, in Miava. You got your 2 best running backs back. You got the number 1 recruiting class. Post game spoke on it was probably a sheer number thing, but they do got some guys that I expect to come in on day 1 and play. Luke Waffle, to mention one, he's an edge. That dude, we was recruiting him heavy out of Ohio State. I wanted him so bad, but he ended up at USC. I expect him to be a dog from day 1. So you got all these resources, man. You gotta make something shake. They got a pretty favorable schedule too, for real. So I mean, they got Oregon, Penn State, and Washington and Ohio State. You skipped out on Indy, so they got IU. They got a brutal schedule. They got IU too. So you playing the top 3 teams in the Big Ten, at least according to last year. You know what I'm saying? So I don't care though. You USC, you should be one of them teams too. So, you know what I mean?
I noticed you mentioned Lincoln Riley and him being in the same boat as Kalen DeBoer. If they do not finish in the, let's say, the top 2 or 3 in the Big Ten, can you see USC going in a different direction?
No, I think they give him another year just because he signed the number 1 recruiting class. But I mean, if I was the man calling the shots, I'm getting out of there now. Especially if the right coaches hit the market next year.
Yep, 100%. Anything post on those or move on? You good?
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with this at all.
Me neither. Well, I did, but we'll move on from that. All right, 10 through 6. This is probably going to be Big Ten heavy for all you people.
Oh, this is me, ain't it?
Yeah.
It ain't Big Ten heavy, man. It's just how I feel, man. That's all.
I got you.
10 Ole Miss. This is based off of Chambliss. I still think Chambliss is going to get an injunction just because I know they're appealing to state court. The judge might be Ole Miss alum. You know what I mean? Who knows? But LSU, when have I ever seen a bad Lane Kiffin offense? That defense was stellar. I don't think they should take too many steps back. I expect Lamar Brown to be playing defensive tackle and not offensive line next year. That's going to add to that firepower on that defense. Texas Tech, I like what they did with Sorsby. I think he adds a layer of mobility at the quarterback position. I think they're going to take a step back on that defensive line. They did get the Austin Trick dude from Miami of Ohio that was super ultra productive. I want to see if he's going to be productive on a higher level. But nevertheless, he got a high motor. Miami got Darian Mensah, of course. I expect him. He's my Heisman finalist to start the season. So, you know, that offense is going to be just explosive. I think as the year they had Cam Ward. You know, and I think they take a small step back on defense as well. I know they got Damian Wilson in the portal to replace Mesidor and Bang, but I don't think they're going to be as stout on that defense. I'm not to say they're going to be slouches. I just don't think they're going to be as strong on that defensive line, and I think that was the key to their playoff run. And then at 6, I got the defending national champions in Indiana. Really probably too low, but I want to see how it all meshed. They got a lot of new faces, but I do believe in Sig, and I do think he'll get them up to speed. So I slotted the national champs at 6.
All right, I got no complaints with that.
Let me say a question.
Go right ahead.
And I think I know the answer, but I'm gonna ask anyway, just for the heck of the podcast. Do you believe Mensa will be better than what's my man name? Beck. Do you think it will be better than Beck? And if so, how did that affect where you rank Miami?
Man, listen, Beck is terrible, bro. Like, hey, this is about to be night and day. We talking about a walking 35 touchdown, 6 interception type of kid, bro. I wouldn't be surprised really if Mensa was like the 1 or 2 quarterbacks off the board come the draft next year. But you know, they got the number 1 tackle as well. That's not the only reason why I put him there. They got the number 1 tackle as well, Jackson Cantwell. Ohio State was chasing. It was too much money on the board. And then they also grabbed who was it? It was another offensive. Oh, the dude that played receiver with Mensa, his number 1 target from Duke, came over. So not only do you got Malachi Tony, but you got somebody familiar with Mensa as well. So he had that blanket on him as well with somebody that he's already comfortable with.
All right. Move on up. Post games 10 through 6. There we go.
Yeah, fellas, I had Texas A&M at 10, only because of SEC shine. So I had them at 6, but I moved them to 10 because SEC. No, I'm just kidding, man. Texas A&M at 10, Oklahoma 9, Tech at 8, Indiana 7, Oregon 6. Now, I did something that I normally don't do, which is I'm the type of guy I believe in. If you're the champion, you should be number 1 coming into the season, just off the strength. But I didn't in this case. Texas A&M at 10. I mean, a lot is going to shoulder on Marcel Reed and the type of improvements he's going to have this season if he can become a better football player. And if he becomes better, look out. 10 may be too low for A&M. I like the transfer portal moves they made. Of course, I'm a huge believer in Mike Elko. And then at 9, I had Oklahoma. And listen, man, I believe if Mateer is able to stay healthy, they'll do better than they did this past season. If I'm not mistaken, he was probably the Heisman favorite before he had that injury. So I think, you know, a lot's going to ride on John Mateer, but to open the season, I believe they're a top 10 team. Texas Tech, listen, one thing about Tech, I believe, and a lot of people believe, they have the best general manager in college football. And we all know about the money they can spend and to attract players in this NIL era. Indiana at 7, again, I strongly consider giving them the 1 nod, being the national champion, but I'm going to move them to 7. I think they'll be an elite team. I don't know if they're going to repeat this coming season. I do like the portal moves. We all know Cignetti's formula now, you know, with the, you know, getting veteran players, elite portal, transfer portal class. not so elite high school class, maybe in the 30s or 40s. I can't remember. And then Oregon, I would have them higher, but I like the other teams I have 1 through 5 better. But I would not be surprised if at going towards the end of the season, Oregon is the top 2 or 3 team.
Yeah. Nothing there. You awake up there, Robert?
Yeah, I'm awake.
Oh,
I'm just waiting to see. I'm just waiting to see his 1 through 5 because if he have I know he got my Texas boys ahead of them because if he would have had that behind Texas Tech or Texas A&M, I was gonna have to send him a nasty note in the text.
Oh yeah, Rob. I don't got Texas in the top 25, man.
He said Texas broke the salary cap, so they can't be ranked.
Hey, that might be Texas Tech.
Yeah, it might be. All right. Here's your 10 through 6.
At 10, I had Oklahoma. At 9, I had Texas Tech. At 8, I had Miami. At 7, I had Texas A&M. And at 6, I had Indiana. For Indiana, I really wanted to put them in my top 5, man, but I felt like the teams that I put ahead of them might have more talent than them at this point. Cignetti, we know he's a brilliant coach. He's a hell of a motivator. He knows his team is going to be well prepared. I just think they might take a step back this year, and so I had to put them outside of my top 5. Texas A&M, I think another year with Marcel Reed at the helm. I think he'll correct some of the mistakes he made last year, some of the interceptions he threw. He's going to have 2 really good wide receivers to throw the ball to. I think they'll be able to run the ball well. My concern with A&M is will their offensive line gel, losing so much on their offensive line from last year. Miami, I think with Mensa, I think they're going to be right back where they were last year. I got them at number 8. I think he's going to be able to do some things along with Malachi Tony that's going to really light up the scoreboard in the ACC. So I got them as the best team in that conference. Texas Tech, I kind of wanted to put them outside of the top 10, but I had to give them the benefit of the doubt. They're going to have a solid quarterback. I think they spent well in the portal and in the high school recruiting. So I think they're deserving of a top 10 finish. But I ain't sold on Texas Tech. I ain't sold on them. But I know they're going to be the best team in the Big 12 because the Big 12 is not really going to be that good. And then at 10, I got Oklahoma. I think another year with Mateer, I think he's going to be able to make some things happen. They got some help at the wide receiver position with Parker Livingstone. I think they're going to have a better running game. They had a really young offensive line. I think these guys who played all of those games last year will be a lot better this year. And we know they're going to roll out a really, really good defense. So I got them at number 10.
All right. Nothing from me. Anybody got anything for him? No? Everybody good with his?
Just a question, Rob. Oh, this post game too. I don't know if y'all had a chance, but did y'all see OU schedule? Brutal schedule.
I personally didn't take schedule into consideration because these are just hey, that's fine if you took it another way, but how I took it is going into the season, like, preseason, like going into the season.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, everybody, it was just like how me and Sean used to do roads. We both had our different perspectives of how we came up with the rankings. Just a random question though, but it is brutal. That I kind of base mine off of what I see and how a team is going to play out their schedule, kind of, And then I try to average it with the talent on the roster as well.
Now there's
Hold on, Zay. You saying the SEC team has a brutal schedule?
Man, listen. Hey, let me read you the schedule. I mean, I just wrote down the key games, but they at Michigan, they at UGA, they got Texas, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M, all teams that was fighting for a playoff berth or was in there. So, yeah, that's brutal. That's brutal.
Here's the thing that didn't even get mentioned. Texas has this problem too. Texas and Oklahoma both play 4 games, get a bye week, and then they run 8 straight weeks.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. But the good thing about Texas, though, is they only got 4 road games, bro.
Yeah, but 8 games in a row.
And 4 road games.
Don't matter. 8 games in a row.
Hey, if 4 of them is at the crib,
you start the game.
5 of them at the crib, we cool.
Hey, I ain't gonna front though. That's brutal. That is brutal.
Yeah,
I'm just giving him some the Big Ten SEC thing.
Yeah, he was giving me some smoke for the SEC.
Jump up here, go my 6 through 10 or 10 through 6. So I went USC 10, LSU 9. I got us A&M number 8, Oregon 7, Miami 6. USC, just super talented. The offense we know is going to do its thing. Concerns about the defense. I know you mentioned Waffle, Zay. I'm really going to watch that Booby Feaster. That kid is, man, he's going to be something dynamic. LSU got them 9. I mean, this is where I think LSU may end. I think LSU comes out of the gate and probably is like 3-1 after their first 4, maybe drops another one. And then I think LSU is that team that's going to get hot at the end when it all starts gelling together better. They've got to rebuild that offensive line. We took 2 of their offensive linemen are at A&M now. They're 2 tackles. So we're going to see. So I think LSU is going to be okay, but I think they're going to struggle a little, maybe more towards the beginning. And then I think they kind of ramp up, kind of like we all said Georgia got better at the end of the year last year. I think that's what we're going to see with LSU too. A&M 8, I don't know. Like what we did in the portal, like what we got from recruiting standpoint from high school. Marcel Reed, that's what it's going to hinge on. We lost Casey Concepcion, but we replaced him with Isaiah Horton. Isaiah Horton is the receiver we didn't have last year. We didn't have that big body outside, that 6'3", 6'4" receiver. We didn't have that at all. Now we do. So we'll see what happens with A&M, but it's going to be on Marcel's shoulders and getting the defense fixed, which all mentioned already. I've got Oregon at 7. Oregon could probably be higher. I'm not exactly sold on Oregon. Oregon seems to always just trip over their own shoelaces at random times throughout the seasons. We'll see what they do. They got their quarterback back, so that's a big plus, but I'm just not as sold on Oregon as some people are. I am more sold on Miami than some people. I like Mensa going over there. I like the receivers they've got. I like that offense. Miami's concern to me is going to be the offensive line. They're losing quite a bit off that offensive line too. Defensive line, they're definitely losing some guys on defense, but the difference that I see is they got Jason Taylor coaching the defensive line. He's pretty good. So I think Miami will be okay. I think they're going to take a step back, but I don't think it's going to be a giant step back. So that's my 10 through 6.
So SEC, you think you like this year's receiving core at Texas A&M better than last year's?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Interesting.
Not even close. Loved Concepcion. Loved Craver. Both were kind of the same style receiver. Shifty, quick, fast, give them in space and let them run. You've got Craver back. You've got ABR, number 3, Ashton Bethel Roman, who had a couple of big games. You got the big body in Horton now, and you've got some studs coming from the recruiting class. And you also have Mr. High School 3 years ago, Terry Bussey, Mr. Texas High School Football Player of the Year from a little 2A school who ain't done nothing since he's been in College Station. He's got to have a breakout year coming up soon. So I will tell you a name to watch out for Texas A&M. It's a running back named Tiger Reardon, something like that. Watch that kid. That kid's a thumper.
You gotta get his name right first so we can watch.
I can't even, man. Look, I have trouble with my name. All right, so don't even start. That's my 10 through 6. My top 5: Georgia, Indiana, Ohio State, and Notre Dame. Oh, Texas. I don't know. I can't read it. I have trouble with names. Y'all already know that. So I can't read that number 2. It's fitting that they're number 2. I don't know. It's just what I'm looking at. I think Notre Dame is the number 1 team in the country going into it. I think Carr made massive strides last year from week 1 through. He only going to get better. They did lose running backs, but I don't think Notre Dame's going to struggle to find somebody to run the ball. I think the receivers are going to be better this year, and that defense is going to be good. You've got probably the best cornerback, shutdown corner in college football, in my mind. Texas, number 2. Texas got all the talent in the world. Can they put it together? Can they stay healthy? Can the offensive line for Texas be better? They got Cam Coleman out of the portal. Okay, number 1 receiver. That's good. Wingo's got to step up. He can't be dropping 12 passes a year. Sorry. Offensive line, like I said. And I'm curious what the defense is going to do. The linebacking room is super strong. I have no issues there. And the D line's going to be pretty good itself. So Texas has no issue. If Texas struggles this year, there are going to be some serious Sarkisian questions. This should be Texas's. Not saying they're going to win the national title, not saying they're even going to make the championship game. But if Texas does not make the playoffs this year, Sarkisian is going to be run out of Austin with this roster. Ohio State, to me, Ohio State needs to be top 5 damn near every year. Super talented roster, super talented team. Losing a bunch, but it's Ohio State. They're going to reload like all your bigger programs do. Indiana, I've got them 4 for the Cignetti factor. I think they're losing a lot. I know it's got to be kind of a retool. I trust Cignetti to retool it, so I've got them 4. I agree with what all y'all said about they should, to be the man, you got to beat the man, starting number 1. I don't think this era of college football is different. I need to see what he can do with a roster that he doesn't have coming from his old school. Georgia, number 5, to me, Georgia, Texas are the 2 big dogs in the SEC right now. I think Kirby Smart just has built the reputation as a coach that he deserves to be top 5 until proven otherwise. So there's my top 5. All 3 of y'all should be happy. I got all 3 of y'all schools in the top 5. Look at that. Y'all all kept me outside of the top 5. Here I am being nice to y'all. That's all right. I get it.
No, listen, I would not be surprised if Marcel Reed takes a step forward. Texas A&M is right where they were last season, top 5 team.
We can say that about a bunch of these teams. Underwood up in Michigan. Yep. We could say it about a bunch of them. So It's justifiable. I didn't even put him in the top 5, so probably because I didn't want to be a homer and get called that by Zay. Robert, number 5 through 1.
At number 5, I had my Texas Longhorns. At 4, I had Ohio State. At 3, I had Georgia. At 2, I had Notre Dame. And at 1, I had Oregon. I feel like Oregon, bringing back their front 4, is going to be a really, really good team, along with the quarterback, especially if they get those receivers back healthy. I think Oregon is going to be a really, really good football team. So I put them at number 1. I put Notre Dame at 2 because I feel like they're returning a lot of really, really good talent on that team. And their defense is probably going to start the season much better than they started last season. So I think Notre Dame is going to be a really, really tough team to beat. I got Georgia at 3 simply because Kirby Smart will have those guys ready to play. They'll be really, really dynamic. Down the stretch, if they can stay healthy, I think they're going to still be the team to beat in the SEC. At number 4, I got Ohio State. I feel like that team, we have to wait and see how those players who are replacing some of the players that they lost, how they gel. Otherwise, I would have put Ohio State higher. I just don't know. I know they're going to be good. I just don't know if those players that are filling in for those juggernauts that they lost are going to be able to catch on right quick, fast, and in a hurry at the start of the season. And I got Texas at 5. I really feel like they're probably got some questions on their team that these other 4 teams ahead of them don't have. We don't know what Texas secondary is going to look like. We know that their front 7 is going to be really good, but we don't know what the back end is going to look like and the wide receiver, the corners. And offensively, we don't know if the offensive line is going to fix the issues that they had because they were not able to run the football last year. If they don't get that issue fixed, even though I think they're good everywhere else, the key though is their offensive line, and I wasn't 100% sure what they're going to look like, even though 3 of their starters will be back next year. Hopefully those guys can start off on a high note and can be really, really good.
My question here is Texas behind Georgia because Sark has a Kirby problem? I mean, is that really why? Because Georgia seems to have Texas's number. Is that why you have it like
facts. That is facts.
I mean, Georgia they own the SEC.
They own the SEC, yeah. I mean, I couldn't justify that. I mean, I could have put Georgia at 4 and put Ohio State at 3 or anywhere in there. But I could not put anybody in the SEC ahead of Georgia.
I just think Texas's roster is more talented than Georgia's. So I was curious as to why you had them behind it, and I thought that might have something to do with it.
Yeah.
So, I felt like it was a few more talented rosters than Georgia last year. You can't teach that DNA, though.
It's the Kirby Smart factor.
So, Rob, let me ask you a question. Do you, and I'm not saying this is going to affect them, but I just want to get your thoughts on it. Do you believe Oregon losing both their offensive and defensive coordinator is going to have any effect on them?
Oh, it's definitely going to have an effect on them at the beginning of the season. I believe it's going to have an effect on them. But I think by mid-season they'll be okay. Because Dan Lanning is going to make sure that he hires the right guys to do what they need to do in the coaching on offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. So they're going to be fine there. It's just, can those players get up to speed? Because they're inheriting some really, really talented football players. And I think the fact that these guys are older players is going to help those coordinators out a lot.
Moving on down. Post game, 5 through 1.
Yeah, so I got Miami at 5, Georgia at 4, Ohio State 3, Texas 2, and the Fighting Irish at Uno. So 5 at Miami. I'm just blown away at the prospect of having Mensa because I think he's way better than Beck. So I'm kind of blown away at the prospect of seeing Mensa with Tony and I think Zay spoke on the transfer from Duke at wide receiver to give him that camaraderie to start off. But I know they lost those bookends, but Jason Taylor is there. He knows how to. If he don't know nothing else, he know how to get after a quarterback. So I'm really high on Miami this season. I think they're gonna be a scary team. Georgia, Kirby Smart. I think he wants to get back in that championship race, man. I know they've been a perennial playoff team, but he hasn't won a championship in a few years now. I think he's going to be hungry. Gunnar Stockton, I'm not a huge fan of, but I think having another year on his belt and getting that season, and I think he's probably going to have a decent season. Ohio State, Ohio State, man, you got Sayan and Smith and that running back, and they always reload and retool. Really 1 through 3, 1 through 5, you can mix and match however you want it. But for me, I'm gonna go with Ohio State 3, Texas at 2. I felt like Arch Manning started to get it towards the latter part of the season, and he started to click a little bit. And he was making plays. He didn't look as gun shy. So hopefully they're able to build off that momentum. I know they got a lot of key additions in the portal. I know Texas fans are excited. I know Rob's excited. I believe he's tempering his expectations, but I know he's excited. But I really love what Texas was able to do, and we'll see what kind of season they're able to have. The Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. No, I'm not being biased. If this roster was Miami, I would have Miami 1. I just love what Notre Dame did in the offseason. The transfer portal, after hearing fans cry for a week, they just came out of nowhere and just had a hell of a portal. Getting Francis Brew from Pittsburgh is going to be huge. Getting Tione from Oregon, what a huge human being that is. Getting the cornerback from Colorado, who Coach Prime spoke really high about. To pair him with our corners that we have on our squad, that's going to be I thought we had an elite secondary. Now it's just on a whole nother level, but that secondary is going to be dangerous. Linebackers, dangerous. Defensive line, dangerous. Getting Keon Keeley from Alabama. And then you're able to build on the first year starting success of C.J. Carr. Of course, we're not going to be able to replace the running back room, but Notre Dame has a good stable of running backs. They ain't gonna be Love or our backup running back, but they're gonna be solid. And plus, I think they're gonna lean on the pass a little bit more this season. But I love the roster at Notre Dame. I think they got a chip on their shoulder. Marcus Freeman had those guys prepared. Love the all-season moves.
Nothing for me. Drop down in here to Zay. Top 5 right here.
Oh, I was saying that was a good breakdown. It wasn't really no questions left. He
he said it all.
Yeah. But 5, Texas, outstanding portal haul. Raleigh Brown, Hollywood Smothers. They got the boy Melvin Siani from Wake Forest, who's probably going to come in and start right tackle for them. They could move probably Brandon Baker into the guard position, where I think he fits a little better. They got them other 3 returning starters. Now it's just about developing. And I think, Sean, you said it, man. Arch Manning just looked like he stopped caring at the end of the year, towards the end of the year. He just started just slinging the ball, like just letting it play. You feel me? It's the same sport he's been playing all his life. So I think any one of these teams right here can win it all coming into the year. 4, I went Notre Dame. The only pause for trepidation I got for Notre Dame is I felt like Jeremiah Love was so key to their offense, and to switch the style and lean a little more pass heavy, which I also think y'all will do. I gotta see it first. I just want to see it. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of them people. I want to see it first. Even though y'all did get one of our monsters, Quincy Porter, who I think is the best receiver in that room. Even knowing that y'all still got Great House, the other boy, and then Mylan Graham as well. And y'all got a couple other dudes over there that I like as well. And I think this is Notre Dame also got the best cornerback duo in the country. Only team that's going to rival them is my number one team, and I get to them. At 3, I got Ohio State. Listen, we reload. We lost a lot. We lost more off this team than we did the national championship team on defense. Just because a lot of those guys that we lost from the national championship team was like 3rd and 4th round picks. We're losing bona fide 1st and 2nd round dudes that it's just going to be tough to replace. I do think, though, we did well in the portal. I expect my secondary to take a small step back. It was a good retention to get Kenyatta Jackson to come back. I think the blow from losing Caden Curry and Cade McDonald will simmer down a little bit with that retention. But we got some guys that out of the portal that we need to see. The boy John Smith from UCF. I don't know yet. I gotta see him. I ain't really did no film study on him, so waiting to see that. Arthur Smith hire. I don't know how I feel about that because I didn't think we played well in 13 personnel last year. But I'm gonna trust Ryan Day. I keep saying it. When he hires somebody, I gotta stop questioning him because he don't miss. 2, I got Georgia, Stockton. I like the Isaiah Cannon pickup from Georgia Tech receiver. You pair him with Luke Humphreys. I think they can develop a couple more guys in that position room. You return both your running backs, was very key for them. Frazier and Chauncey. But this is the same Georgia team. Somebody gonna have to dethrone them before I let it go, and that's just how it's gonna go for me. Oregon, I heard post game mention the worry about the OC and the DC being replaced. I don't have as much worry because the OC was the co-OC for 4 years, and then the DC was a co-DC for 3 years. So they just promoted within. I don't think they really miss a beat. They're teaching all the same stuff. They get Evan Stewart back to pair with DeCorian Moore. They got running backs. They got linemen. They got everything on their team. And like Rob said, they return their front 4 on defense. And then I think Finney Jr. was probably one of the best, if not the best, freshman cornerback in the country last year. You pair him with Naeem Offord, and that's just a nice tandem. Both of them was freshmen. Finney played a little more than Offord, but Offord, when he was on the field, I thought he played well as well. So they just got 5-star dudes everywhere across the board, just like Notre Dame and Ohio State and Texas. All these teams in this group, for me, all got the same rosters. Like you splitting hairs. Now it's just coming down to who's going to execute and who's going, who's going to just take it there. So I like all these teams and their chances to win it and take it all this year.
Yeah, no arguments there. One thing we didn't mention about one of the teams, pretty much we all had in our top 5. We didn't even think about Texas's defense and the Will Muschamp hire. That could be big for that team. That Will Muschamp was pretty good when he was there before. Didn't even mention
the exciting thing about having Will Muschamp is we know that on 3rd and 4 and 3rd and 6, Texas is not going to be 20 yards off of the wide receiver like BK was doing We know that ain't gonna happen. So that's gonna be the bright spot, I think, for Texas as far as having Will Muschamp there. They're gonna be a lot more aggressive, and I think the kind of players that they recruited, they're more man-to-man type corners than they are guys who are gonna want to sit in the zone. So hopefully, those guys catch on really, really quick and are able to do what they need to do to improve that pass coverage. Because last year it was atrocious in comparison to what it was the year before when we had Jade Barron and Makuba in the game.
So
Yeah.
I didn't realize that our buddy Moss was trying to take over the comedian role of the show. He said nobody has the Knowles in the top 25.
Oh man.
Man, listen, that's tough. It's man, top 50.
Right. Yeah, I've got kind of curious if anybody's got a sleeper team or two you're looking at that's not in any that we didn't mention today. You got anybody you could slip up like a group of 5? I tell you, my group of 5 is Hawaii. You better watch Hawaii, dude.
They can put up some points, but can they stop anybody?
Doesn't matter. You got Jackie Chan Timmy Chan over there.
You know,
Man,
when I first saw you say that, I thought you were joking, but no, he not joking. Hawaii, they ain't gonna be. I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs or nothing, but
Nah, I
they
don't
can
think
definitely
will.
be a sleeper team. In my opinion.
I think that Hawaii team's going to come together. The real sleeper I have, and I'm not saying they're good, but they're going to be better than they were. Kentucky. You better watch Kentucky this year. Not that they're going to go 8-4 or nothing like that.
They
But
might.
yeah, they might. But from where they've been, going 5-7 would be huge. And that sounds terrible, but it's true. I think Kentucky is going to be something to watch.
Yeah, my sleeper team, a team that I had like right outside of my top 25 was Vandy. They got the number 1 quarterback in the class. I don't know what that,
You? Vandy?
man. I'm
Come
a
on.
football head, man. I'm a football head, man.
You
Stop
just
doing.
dogged Vandy so long last year that I got to.
But I was on and off the bandwagon though. If you don't remember, you know what I'm saying?
Pavia's still trying to get another year.
Yeah, but even without Pavia, I don't think he'd get it. I think you slide Jared Curtis in there, and I don't think their schedule is too difficult to navigate if he can come in and ball like that number 1 quarterback ranking he got.
Well, I mentioned Arizona and Boise State being right outside of my top 25. I think those are teams that can have sneaky good years. But let me ask y'all, what y'all think about UCLA?
I've been hearing a lot of buzz about them this offseason. Been hearing it. They got a couple Buckeyes over there that hit the portal.
I was considered in UCLA at number 25. I couldn't fix myself to put them any higher than that, but I really thought about them at 25. I like the way they finished their season. Well, they had a stretch run in the season during last year, and I think that if they could capitalize on that, they could be a really good team. They just happen to be in the freaking Big Ten, where we already know they got 5 or 6 teams that UCLA probably is not even going to be that close to even touching. So that's the only reason why I couldn't quite put them in my top 25.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've heard buzz about them, but you move UCLA to the ACC and you get a lot more buzz out of them, I think. I just think where they're sitting is not going to do them any favors. I don't know what their schedule looks like, but you're in the Big Ten, so you're probably going to at least get 1 or 2 of the big dogs on your schedule.
Yeah. Speaking of the ACC, I was the only one who did not have Louisville in my top 25. What can y'all tell me that I'm missing? Why? Tell me why y'all got them in y'all's top 25 and what I'm missing.
Isaac Brown might be the best running back in the nation. Getting keyholes from Ohio State. And then the Browns, man, the Browns are hell of a coaches, man. I like what they building at Louisville. So
I think Louisville's going to just line up and give it to you every game. I think they're just one of those teams. They don't, let's line up, let's play. I mean, not that they're as good as in Indiana, but it's kind of the same vibe where whatever, let's play. And the coaches are good. The running back's good. Their defense is opportunistic. They have to me, the defense has to make plays taking the ball away. But they did it last year.
Yeah, listen, I like to navigate schedules. I think their schedule is very manageable, especially me knowing as a Buckeye guy what type of baller King Host is. You pair him and Isaac Brown together, man, that's a scary RPO. It is scary.
Only thing I haven't checked
two ACC teams in my top 25, so I might be tripping.
I only had 3: Virginia, Miami, and Louisville. You ain't too far off.
Oh, y'all had SMU, didn't y'all?
Oh yeah, SMU. Yeah, that's right. 3.
Yeah, I don't. Like I said with mine, I think I had the most ACC. I have to look back at post games. I haven't, but I know I had like 4 or 5 ACC teams in there. Like I said, they're all most of them are at the bottom of the pecking order. So,
hey, I do want to mention, I think this is the year we'll probably see a 3-loss team make the playoffs.
Didn't Bama have 3 losses?
I mean, that was a conference championship.
Oh, conference. Okay. Oh, you saying going into
regular season? Yeah, because just going through a few of the schedules, man, it's some teams that got such killer schedules that 3 losses is just not going to keep them out.
I can agree with you on that because with the SEC, with the favoritism that they get and the fact that they went to a 9-game conference schedule, I could definitely see the committee giving them the benefit of the doubt with a team with 3 losses for sure. I mean, it can happen in the Big Ten too because it's going to be both of those conferences are going to be tough, bro.
It's going to be possible with my Buckeyes, man. That's for sure.
Your schedule is brutal, bro. It's brutal.
If we don't win at Texas this year, we could very much well end up with 3 losses.
Yeah, I'm running through our schedule. Our schedule's not real easy itself. Our advantage is we get our bye week late, so that helps us. But the only way a 3-loss team is getting in is it's a Big Ten or SEC. There's no, you're not getting 3 losses from any other conference. Yeah, there's just that's no offense to anybody that watches this from any other conference. You're not getting a 3-loss ACC team or a 3-loss Big Ten or a Big 12 team in. You're just not going to happen. It's just not. You're probably getting 1 bid from each of those leagues, possibly. Again, I mean, that's just the nature of it. That's the way I see it.
Do y'all consider, was you finished SEC?
You're good.
Do y'all consider Kalen DeBoer to be on the hot seat?
Absolutely.
No.
Absolutely he is.
I see, bro.
It's not hot at all. It's
burning
on fire.
Oh, okay. It's on fire for sure.
Y'all seen that Dr. Pepper commercial where they put up the hot seat and it automatically lights up like a grill? Yep.
Yeah.
That's the one. Yeah, DeBoer's on it. I'll tell you, I think Lincoln Riley's on a warmer seat. I think Sark's on a pretty warm seat if he goes 9-3 or 8-4, depending on who the losses are to and how bad. But there's a few. Shane Beamer's on a really hot seat.
Yeah.
Moss's boy is on a hot seat.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Moss's boy shouldn't even have a damn seat. He's already been fired.
Dabo's seat was hot last year.
Yeah,
Moss boy is crawling. You know how when it's smoke, you gotta crawl, so you want to inhale the smoke.
Right. Yeah.
Stop, drop, and roll.
Yeah. It looks like he's already stopped. I think he's fixing to drop and then roll. So right on out the door.
You know,
but,
I think I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sean.
No, you're good. Go.
I think half the Big Ten seats are hot just because of significance. Like half of them, y'all's time is ticking now. Like, bro came over here, won 10 games, then the next year he won a national championship. Like, yeah, some of y'all gotta go.
Well, I mean, what schools are you looking at? Are you looking at like your Rutgers, Maryland's?
Maryland, he's definitely hot. Shiano, he definitely gonna be hot for sure. Luke Fickell, we already know he was hot. He was hot last year, but
yeah, that's true.
He had that bad draw of a schedule, so they gave him another chance, and they put some money into the program. But all these coaches, Minnesota, Nebraska, all these seats are hot.
Rule, yeah. Matt Rule's in Nebraska, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely hot. Yeah. See, I think the only ones hot in the SEC, well, of course, they replaced half of them last year. I think really the SEC is Beamer and DeBoer are probably the two hottest. Josh Heupel's probably third with Sarkisian. I'd say Sarkisian and Heupel are probably both even. Lebby at Mississippi State, but I mean, it's Mississippi State, so what do they really expect? I think his seat's probably third warmest. He might be right there with Sarkisian and them. But Florida's not going to do anything. Georgia's not. A&M's not. Ole Miss probably isn't. LSU definitely isn't. Kentucky's not. So I don't see a lot in the SEC this year. That would be hot seats.
What do y'all think Clemson like this year? Because that's a team that I couldn't fully gauge when I was doing this.
What team? You cut out for a second.
Clemson.
I think Clemson's down. I think Clemson's in trouble this year. Seriously.
Do you think they're going to give any fight to LSU that first game of the season?
Nope, not in Death Valley. I think LSU boat races them.
He put himself in a bad space, man, when he didn't capitalize on the landscape of college football changing. He put himself behind the 8 ball, man. So hopefully he can get his stuff together, because what they did last year, if they repeat that this year, he got to go. They can't afford to keep him because his mind ain't right. You know what I'm saying? He's thinking that he can do what he's been doing and going to be able to have championship caliber teams. The landscape of college football has changed. You either get with it or get ran the hell over.
You know what? That's a really good question, because Clemson has been out of sight, out of mind for me. I didn't even think about Clemson until just right now. So I'm not going to answer that question yet. I want to do a little digging on Clemson before you know what I mean? So, but it's just off top, it's not looking good.
I mean, going into the last year, you had a potential Heisman candidate, including Klubnik, right? He fell apart, obviously. Who they got behind him?
Some guy. I don't know how to pronounce it.
There you go. There's your point.
I call him Rising.
Yeah, 5 years ago, though, you knew who the backup was, because they were blowing teams out by so much that the backup was playing the second half. So you knew who you don't have any idea who the quarterback's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, we named 5 teams that we feel like is better than Clemson in the ACC. You know what I'm saying? You got Miami, you got Louisville, you got Virginia Tech, you got SMU, and you got Virginia. We all mentioned all five. All 5 of those teams have been mentioned in our top 25. So, yeah, he's in trouble, man. He's in trouble.
Then the question becomes, what's his buyout, and will they pay it?
I think the way college football in the direction that it's heading, you don't have no choice because you can't afford to fall and your money be jacked up because you hold on to a coach that's not buying into what's going on in college football. You have no choice. You got to go ahead and cut him loose. Got to cut him loose. His mind ain't right.
So in 2025, his buyout was $60 million.
Yeah, they're gonna have to eat that.
Clemson ain't gonna pay that. I mean, A&M jumped and paid Jimbo $75 to leave, but I think A&M's got a little bit more money than Clemson does.
Yeah,
I don't see Clemson throwing. I don't see Clemson throwing that much money. I mean, if it was $60 million last year, let's just say it's $50 million this year. I don't know. I just think Clemson's done. I think Clemson had a good little run for a few years, and I think they're done until they get a new coach. That's more on par with the way college athletics is done now.
You know, maybe their fan base might be okay as long as they're better than South Carolina. I don't know. Maybe they'll be okay with that.
They're not going to be
bragging rights in the state.
They're not going to be though. South Carolina's going to beat the hell out of Clemson. South Carolina's pretty good this year.
We'll see.
I mean, Sellers back, Scott, or was it Dylan Scott? I think the edge rusher. You got Harbor back. So and they got a couple of O linemen. They got that one from NC State. South Carolina got some dudes. Not saying they're going to make the playoffs, but they'll beat the hell out of Clemson.
Listen, none of us put them in the top 25. I'm real curious to see if the national media throws them into the top 25. But we're going to see if Dabo's plan works. See, he's all about developing guys, you know. So that'll be what the 2022 and 2023 class. Let's see. You know, I'm gonna do some research tonight because I'm like post game. I didn't even think about Clemson until I thought about LSU, and I just looked at their schedule on my paper, and I'm like, they got Clemson game 1. What is Clemson going to look like? Like, you know, but I mean, you heard about all this talent returning last year on Clemson, so it was eyeballs on them. Maybe these guys that was next up developed.
Well, what are y'all? Yeah, you right about that. But what do y'all make of Lagway going to Baylor?
I had Baylor in that 30 to 25 range as well. You know, and on my sheet, all these Big 12 teams that I got in my top 25, Baylor is a key game for me. If you drew Baylor, that's a key game. I don't think that's an easy win.
If he can come back 100% healthy, man, DJ Lagway can be a monster, bro. But he has to be 100% healthy. They got to get a better defense. Did they fire their head coach?
No.
They still got Dave Aranda. He got to get a better defense and he's a defensive-minded guy. So hopefully they get a better defense that can stop somebody. But DJ Lagway, 100% healthy, he could be a problem in that Big 12.
That's where I'm at is I think he went to the right conference for him. Yeah, we know Tech played good defense and stuff like that. Okay, we got a couple of schools, but we all know the Big 12 has been based about offense. defense optional. I think he's in the right color. Look what Sawyer Robertson did last year at Baylor. I mean, he was putting up killer numbers, and I think Lagway's better than him if healthy. And Florida didn't have a good offensive line last year either, real good. They were okay. They weren't really good. Florida had a lot of injuries too, but I just think Lagway's in the right spot in the right conference and the right team. He's going to get tons of support from the family members of his right there out of Willis. It's only about 2 hours outside of Waco. Mm-hmm. So he's back closer to home. I think it's a good move for him.
I don't know if he's better than Sawyer though. You seen he was recruited
not throwing that football, not throwing it.
Yeah, you saying he was recruited as a Lamborghini, and we done seen the Lamborghini hit 150 on the highway, but we also seen the Lamborghini, miss a couple clutches too. So I think the jury is out. These 5-star quarterbacks get tricky. There's like a 50% hit rate. So we'll see how it plays out. But I definitely think him being somewhere he could sling the rock 40 times in a game is where he need to be.
Yeah, I'm just, I'm basing it off, the jury is still out. I'm basing it off pure potential of the kid. What I've seen him play when he was in high school, watching him play numerous games.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking. I'm looking for that DJ Lagway that I've seen play, not whatever version of DJ Lagway we had in Florida, which is a freshman. I scrapped that because that's a freshman in one of the 2 power conferences in football. Let's be real. It's hard to come in and be elite as a true freshman. And then I just don't think he was healthy at the beginning of last year. He missed all of spring ball, and you could see it. He had no rhythm with his receivers. He had really good rhythm with the LSU defensive backs. He was really good at finding them. But
it's something about having to, because I kind of felt like they was putting a lot of save the Florida program on his shoulder too. I think he get the Baylor. Some of that pressure come off. You could just go ball, man. Just go ball.
I think that's what he's looking for is roll the ball out. Let's pick it up and just start slinging it around like we used to. And I think that's going to help him a lot. We'll see.
Yeah, I think the key for Lagway is going to be his health. I think Lagway has a lot of potential if he stays healthy. We're looking at a potential top 10 pick in the NFL draft, but he got to stay healthy. I do like the Baylor move. I agree with Zay that it does. I think it does take pressure off of him going to a school like Baylor, where the expectations probably aren't as high when you compare it to a school like Florida. But I think Lagway stay healthy, man. He gonna make some noise.
Yeah. All right, y'all. We're coming up on about 2 hours, man. Y'all got anything else before we wrap it up?
No, man. Real good stream, y'all.
Real good stream. Yeah, I like y'all's picks, man.
I like our version of the top 25 the way we did it, where we didn't get together off script and make our own 25. I like we had everybody to get a mixture of how everybody sees things. I like that.
Yeah, we didn't make a composite of everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's cool.
I mean, we could have just used mine. It'd have been fine.
Hey, I don't know. We start plotting the NFL draft show too whenever y'all want to do that. We got some time, but beginning next month, we need to start getting that stuff together.
Yeah, I'm going to be live at the NFL drive, so I'm going to jump in and out like that and give y'all some live what's happening, especially if I can get close up in the thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hey, if y'all watch Wheel of Fortune, it's a NASCAR week on Wheel of Fortune. Yeah. Okay. I'm recording it. I'm just a sicko.
All right, man. Y'all have a good rest of
All
y'all's
right, y'all.
evening, man. We'll be back again on. You coming on tomorrow, SEC show?
No, tomorrow. If I pop on, it'll be a short after qualifying's done.
Okay.
So.
All right, cool. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all's evening. If we don't go on tomorrow, we'll definitely be back on Thursday with some more Thursday night forecast. We'll see y'all soon. Hit that like button, subscribe, share our videos, and continue to support us. We really do appreciate y'all. All right, y'all, we out. I'll catch y'all on the rebound. Peace.
Peace out.